Hi everybody, welcome to week 4 of my 2026 contest prep YouTube series. So those of you that follow me on Instagram know that over the holiday weekend I broke my left foot. I broke my 5th metatarsal on my left foot. It was not a gym accident, it was just a stupid accident at home. I was walking around the house and I accidentally tripped over a dog bed and I rolled on my foot funny. Let me show you the dog bed I tripped on. Get ready for the messiest, non-aesthetic YouTube series you've ever seen for the next few weeks because the house is a mess since I can't walk. So this is the dog bed I tripped over in the living room. I tripped over it there in the hallway part. I was in a hurry and I wasn't paying enough attention. I tripped and I rolled on my foot funny and I didn't think too much of it at the time. Initially, it just felt like when you stub your toe or whatever. And then it happened at 7 p.m. By 9 p.m. I was Googling, how do you know if you broke your foot? Because the pain was out of this world. And so I went to bed that night. I had to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. When I tried to put my foot down, I couldn't. The pain was too much. So I crawled from my bed. I crawled, again, excuse the mess. So I crawled from my bed crawled through here, and then I crawled into the bathroom and went to the bathroom. And when I came out and I stood up, not putting weight on my foot, just standing in general, the pain was so severe that I fainted. And I was passed out here and on the floor of my hallway for about a minute. I looked at my watch before I went down, so it was less than a minute that I fainted. Just from the pain. The pain was that bad that I fainted. I went back into bed, my foot was throbbing, and I was like, all right, looks like I'm probably gonna have to go to the doctor in the morning. Sunday morning, I had to wait till the urgent cares opened, and I had to call one with x-ray because I knew I needed an x-ray. Went, got x-rayed, foot was broken. I will plug in a photo of the break. And anyway, so yesterday I went to the orthopedic doctor and the instruction is that I am to not put any weight on my foot for the rest of December. So I have my scooter here that you guys can see, and I have crutches, and I am just getting around and managing. I can get around on one foot like this, and I really want to thank all of my years of fitness and yoga for being able to be super balanced on one leg. So I'm actually managing a lot better than I would think most people. And man, it's just such a huge inconvenience because I am the MVP of this household. I do everything here. My husband helps out when he can, but I'm the main person here that manages everything. So it is just been a bit of a nightmare. The house is totally trashed because, as you can imagine, it's hard for me to bring things from point A to point B and put them away, and it's challenging to get around. Most tasks now are taking me double of the time because I have to be strategic how I move around. The foot is in so much pain that I can't even bump it against anything. In the pain, it buckles me over. So the pain is going to be pretty bad, I've heard, for the next week or two, and then it will start to subside. And the doctor said that in January we could see if I can start to lightly put some weight on the foot. So that's the story, guys. I went to the gym last night. I trained for the first time, and I took my scooter down there. I have a gym in my apartment building. I took my scooter down there and I did some cable movements and some dumbbell movements, lower body. And my gym actually has an assault bike that you can just use your arms. And it also has a ski erg machine. So I actually was able to get cardio in. And so that's the plan. I am going to stick with my contest prep goals at this time. I could always change my mind, of course, but I feel like I'd rather just keep going than sit around being sad about it. And so I've already made some adjustments. I'm going to flip and I'm going to edit here and show you guys the adjustments I made in my plan to accommodate for this basically 70% reduction in movement that I'm facing compared to my usual. And you could see here I watch strap on my right foot to track my steps that I do get and my movement. and I can still do this thing. I'm gonna try. Of course, bodybuilding is just a hobby for me, so if this does become too challenging and not worth it, I'll stop. But my plan is to keep going because I've already modified quite a bit and I think I can do it. So let me show you guys what type of adjustments I've made. And so I thought I would go over the adjustments that I made in my contest prep protocol. So I let you all know this in episode 1, but I am not going to be sharing my exact calorie and macro structure, my exact move cows for my iWatch or my daily steps, because my contest prep protocol is unique to me, my body, my lifestyle, my situation. I do not want a newbie or just some random person on the internet copying what I do to get similar results, because getting ready for a bodybuilding show is reaching extremely low levels of body fat that is not healthy, not sustainable, and there's really no reason anyone should ever do it unless they're competing like me. So, as a responsible fitness influencer, I will not be sharing my exact protocol. I might change my mind on that in the future, but at this time, I don't plan on sharing it because honestly, my first few videos, I've had people messaging me asking for my macros. They want to get lean like me. No. If you want to do a total body recomposition, if you want to lose body fat, you need to work with a professional to do that or figure out how to do it sustainably and healthily on your own. This is specific for me. All right, let's get into it. So basically what I've done is I've taken a few days of data. So I'm filming this on a Friday of my week 4. So I took the data from Monday through Wednesday of this week with my injury, and I made an average for basically how much my Aura ring says I burn in a day, how much I'm moving on my iWatch, the move calories on my iWatch, and my steps on my iWatch, which I have the tracker. My iWatch is now on my right ankle. So we're on my working foot. So I took the data of the 3 days and made my average and said, this is my baseline of where I'm at. This is how much I'm moving and burning in a day at this point, in my contest prep. So as fat loss is a gradual process, it takes time to do. So basically, could I just slash my calories by 500 and lose body fat and weight? Yes, I could. But that is not quite how bodybuilding contest prep works, because what makes bodybuilding contest prep different than just a normal cut is it lasts for months because you have to preserve the muscle. You could just do a basic cut where you're doing a deficit of, let's say, 500 calories, and you will lose weight and fat will come off, but it will not be sustainable. The weight's just going to come right back and the body fat's going to come right back once you start eating normally again. And you will risk losing muscle by doing that deep of a deficit that quickly like that in that drastically a crash diet. So in bodybuilding contest prep, it's strategically losing the body fat slowly over time to preserve the muscle for presenting the muscle on stage. So what I've done, because at the end of the day, fat loss is more or less calories in versus calories out. It's not quite that simple, but that is more or less what it is. So what I've done is I've taken those averages, and every 2 to 3-ish weeks, because remember, I've already completed about a month of my contest prep. So it's not like I'm starting from zero here. I already had a solid 3 weeks of fat loss before I injured my foot. So I've already been at this a month already. So my body usually takes about a month to realize it's in contest prep. So this week 4, even with my injury, I've had a lot of changes to my body that always happen to me in the first month. My face starts to just have a little bit of that sunken in look, not as bad as it gets towards the end of prep, but like it starts to thin out. And then I have this, I think I mentioned this at some other point in the vlog, but I have this vein
on my right arm that I start to really be able to see very clearly as I start to lean out. So those things have been happening to me. In addition, my midsection, I'm waking up with my midsection basically flat every morning at this point. So, and then it gets more watery and softer as the day goes on, but I'm waking up with a very flat waist. So midsection. So I am leaning out. Injury or no injury, I'm doing the thing. So I am eating in a calorie deficit. Unfortunately, I've had to chop my calories by quite a bit because, as you can imagine, I am moving, I did the math, 60% less than I used to. So this is a pretty big adjustment. So basically, I've just made the adjustment in the plan of the amount of food that I was eating before. I chopped that down by quite a bit. And then I structured it out. Every 3-ish weeks, I'll be making a very slight bump down in my food because I really need to be careful to not get my calories so low that I have nowhere to go later in the prep. Because as a reminder, this is just my first part of my prep. This is just to put me to compete in March, or if I need more time, April. I honestly don't know how my body's going to respond to this low of movement, but in theory, on paper, it works out. Now we'll see. So this is just to get me ready for March. And then I plan on just sitting at a maintenance for about a month and then get ready for my summer part of my season. So I can't bring my calories so low that I have nowhere for them to go. So a little bump down in the food every few weeks and a bump up in the movement every few weeks, both in the move calories on my iWatch. So that means just maybe doing more cardio or even lifting longer. As long as I'm burning more and moving more a little bit every week, then that's what I need to do. And moving my step count up ever so slightly. I used ChatGPT to help me put notes. You could see on the right-hand side the weekly notes of how my progression of my foot injury healing should feel. So that's where you see those really smart words there. That's all from ChatGPT because I told it my situation and I said, please help me understand how I'm supposed to be feeling every week, moving closer to healing. I've kept my weight targets the same as before I had the injury because in theory, the math should pan out. Even moving less, I'm in a deficit, a much bigger one now because I'm moving less. So in theory, the math should work to keep me dropping down in body fat and weight. But as any competitor knows, what goes on paper is very different than what happens in person. So this is just a general guide of how I think I should be progressing in the fat loss phase as the weeks go by. Basically a pound a week, I hope. But I have a bit of a issue with this because I can't put myself on a scale right now because I can't put both feet on the scale. I cannot put my left foot on any surface. It's so painful. Even just when my heel is slightly touching the ground, it's sore. And then if my whole foot, for whatever reason, the full foot does touch the ground, even with no weight on it, let's say even just if I'm lying in bed and I forget I have an injury for a second and if I have my knee bent, and my foot goes on the mattress, it hurts. So I can't weigh myself right now. So I can only go by my body measurements and my fat caliper. So I will be doing a physique check-in next week. I'm going to get on a crutch with my bikini and do my body measurements, my fat caliper, and see what's going on. And then once I have that data from next week, I'm going to adjust what I want the fat caliper and waist measurement targets to look like for goals each week instead of just the weight, because honestly, I don't really know when I'm going to be able to weigh myself since I can't put both feet on the ground. And you know what? Putting a positive spin on this, it's actually kind of cool, like that I can't weigh myself because it helps me not be so tied to the number because we all know, even though the scale doesn't matter, it's still in your head. Even though me as a fit chick and a coach and all of that stuff, I know the number on the scale doesn't matter, but it still gets in your head. It really does. So I actually think it's kind of good that I won't be able to weigh myself for a while. So I'm just going to have to go off for my fat loss, the visuals, the measurements, and go from there. I've had to make another adjustment you'll see in the daily nutrition. So I've had to adjust my sodium, potassium, and magnesium because I'm not moving as much. So I don't need as much sodium as I needed before, and I don't need as much potassium as I needed before because I'm moving less. My magnesium, I kept it about the same because the magnesium will help my digestive system just really function properly with less food right now and just keep things moving along in a healthy way. So I haven't changed the magnesium, but I did lower the sodium and the potassium. The sodium looks a little low in my opinion, but I'm going to play with it. I'm going to, as the weeks go by, I am going to experiment with bringing it up a little bit, but not right now because honestly, right now, I'm not moving much, guys. I'm scooting around my house, but I'm not moving enough to warrant previous sodium consumption. Then I've given myself a reminder that if my progress stalls, I have 3 different tools in the toolbox I can use by just moving a bit more or lowering my calories a bit. But this prep, I really want to try and keep my food as high as I can the entire time because, like I said, this is just the first part of my prep. Once I get through this first competition, I'm going to have a few weeks where I'm going to eat a bit more, just kind of regroup a bit. And then I have to get ready for the summer where my food will definitely have to get very low. So anyway, this is what I did. I've made it work. I've taken the average of 3 days of data from my Oura Ring and my iWatch and see in theory what the devices say I'm burning in a day. And I've created my calorie deficit from there. And on paper, it looks like this is going to work out, but I don't know. I really just don't know. So every couple of weeks that go by, I will see how it's going. And if I'm not going to be ready to compete in March, that's okay. I have other shows I'd like to do in April and May. And if I don't get to take a break in the spring to get ready for summer, that's totally fine too. It is my goal this year to become an IFBB pro. I hope it happens. I really do. It's my goal. So I'm willing to do whatever it takes this year to reach my goal. So if I have to be in contest prep for 8 months, that's fine because this is what I want to do right now. This is my goal and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get there. So I've made the adjustments and on paper, it looks like it's going to work out. We will see. All right. Thought I would share. Thought you'd guys find this a little bit interesting. Bye. Thank you. Sorry, girls. Yeah. Bye. I got it. Okay, bye. My husband is walking the dogs at night and the midday walk now. We hired dog walkers Monday through Friday. Same one is coming at 7 a.m. Monday through Friday. And then we have a midday dog walker that's starting Friday, coming at 12:30. Because the dogs, it's normally my job to walk the dogs. They're both of our dogs, but they're really mine. So me being out of commission with this leg injury really affects the family dynamic. My husband had to reschedule all of his work trips, and he has to block out time in the middle of the day to walk them. It's just, this was a totally unexpected curveball. Here I am with my scooter. Excuse the mess. It's going to be the messiest YouTube you've ever seen for the next few months, or sorry, weeks, while I can't use both feet. Yeah, so I'm getting around pretty well on my scooter today. My knee, this is my first day using the scooter. My knee is starting to hurt just from all the use. So I bought a knee pad to put on. So like volleyball knee pad. So that's coming in the mail soon. So that'll be good. And good times. Let me show you another thing. I know this is so messy. I'm embarrassed to put this on the internet, but whatever. So I set up this spin bike here. It's like a desk spin bike, and I can use this with one leg. I can put just my right foot on there and let the other one just hang. So I did use that the other day for a little bit of cardio and movement, and I'm actually about to get on that now and get to it because so far today, according to my iWatch, it's already 1 o'clock and I only have 92 move calories, which is like a 70 to 80% reduction towards what I normally have. This is going to be a challenge, but it's all good. So I thought I would show you guys my kitchen here. So
I have an aisle, like an island kitchen, which is actually perfect for my situation because I can roll through here, and then if my knee's hurting me too much with the scooter, I can just go like this, which is good. So I have still been cooking and doing all my chores. The only thing I haven't been doing is walking the dogs. So I just made some brown rice here, and I can still get around. I'm on 1 foot now. And then what really piles up is just like a mess, because even though I can get around with the scooter, it's really hard to carry things because you need usually 2 hands to carry stuff. So I'm going to buy a plastic laundry hamper so that I can put stuff in it and push it around with me through the house to put things away. So what I did to make things easier for myself, our microwave, our normal one down here, is broken. Yet another thing I have to do on my to-do list. So we bought a temporary microwave here, and I've got my air fryer here, so I can just really easily get through and do what I need to do. And with the scooter, I can get around and get to the fridge. And another thing I did was I have 2 work laptops, so I set one up here on the kitchen island so I can still do all my kitchen stuff and work too. That way I'm not back and forth through my room like I usually am. So I'm pretty much stationed here in the kitchen as a command center. And so that's the kitchen situation, and very exciting week 4 of my contest prep. Kiki, I know this scooter is scary. I know the scooter is scary. Hey girls. Hey girls. Hey everybody, you getting used to the scooter? So here is the smoothie I make for, this is usually my last meal of the day, Monday through Friday. I do this because I train in the evening and I don't like to have a full meal when I get back because I go to bed pretty early. So I go ahead and I measure my soy milk. I do unsweetened soy milk. So this gives me 8 grams of protein right here. And then I always have a banana in it. This is half a banana. I freeze it. It gives it a nice consistency in the smoothie. Then I add the protein powder. This is the one I like to use in this smoothie. It's the Sun Warrior Active Protein. It's got 30 grams of protein and BCAAs in it. It's unflavored. I just like this one. I think it tastes good with the fruit. And so I do this. This smoothie comes out to be 38 to 40 grams of protein. And then I'll measure some strawberries here. These are frozen. And it's about half a cup there. I usually do a cup, but I'm too lazy to open another one, so it is what it is. And then I put in lots of spinach. So I fill it up as much as I basically can with spinach. I like the smoothie to look green. So this is probably 2 to 3 cups that I put in here. And then I add a bit more water just so it can blend. And that's how I do it. I'll show you guys the smoothie maker that I use. I used to just have that basic Hamilton Beach one that sells on Amazon for 30 bucks. But I upgraded after it broke last year, and now I have a Ninja one. So I put it in like this. So this is the smoothie. And then this is the smoothie maker. It's this one here. And it's this one here. I like it because it has an auto sensor and it senses when the smoothie is ready and done and all crushed up. So this is my last meal of the day, and I put it in a Yeti container, and I bring a straw with me to the gym, and I usually sip it when I'm doing any cardio at the end of my workout and my walk home. Now, since my cardio is going to be switching in the gym to mostly hand movements, the ski erg in the gym, I'll just sort of sip this in between. Maybe I think how I'm going to do the ski erg is a minute on, a little rest hit style. So I'll sip this in between.
because I like to be finished eating everything if I can by 6 because I'm usually in bed by 8. So that's how this meal goes. I want to show you guys how I did the rower today. So this is what I did was I used the Peloton rowing classes, which I like, and I just sit on the machine like this, and I keep this foot down, and I put the right foot in the cradle, and I just rode like this, and this worked fine, and I had a great workout doing this. There's a bit of pressure on my left foot, but it's from the boot, not the exercise. And so I did this for cardio to start, 20 minutes today. And I'll show you all another cardio thing I can do in the gym. And this is the other cardio I can do, is the scooter. And my little scooter fits perfectly inside like this. And maybe Andy, you want to come from here? My husband is filming me. So my little scooter fits perfectly in here. And I can just grab the skier and go like this. And so I did this yesterday and today, 10 minutes at the end of my lift. So this is a great cardio. So I'm gonna make this work. So this is some adaptive cardio for week 4 of my contest prep. All right. So my food isn't all that much different this week. I haven't changed too much, so I'm getting ready to eat here my breakfast, which is, I'll turn the camera around and show it. So my food hasn't really changed much. I'm basically just eating less carbs because I'm moving less. So my food is very similar to last week. What I did was I took out snacks, and I also changed my morning bread from carby bread to keto low carb bread. This is the Sola bagel. And I'll show you guys, I ran out of the seitan bacon, so I'm putting in my breakfast sandwich today. This is the Trader Joe's meatless patty, which actually has really good macros, and the just egg patty here with half a slice of cheese on top. And I'm still having a hash brown. I'll plug the macros in for this breakfast. So this is my biggest meal of the day. I just like to start my day like this because I'm the hungriest in the morning, and then my appetite fades as the day goes on and I get very busy. And then something I've been dealing with the injury is I just don't really have an appetite, probably from the pain. I don't really want to eat much. And then in general, I'm moving less, so I'm not as hungry too. So that's been going on. And then another thing is I have Crohn's disease, for people that a lot of people know that about me, some people don't. So I have Crohn's disease. Crohn's disease is an autoimmune disease, and it's really triggered by stress. So unfortunately, I have been having a flare this week, just from the trauma to my body, I think, and my GI tract is just not happy. But I've done a lot of research online, and it seems that this is pretty common when people with Crohn's break a bone. So I'm hoping in a few days it subsides. Something that helps me when I'm having a flare is actually eating more carbs to pad the stomach lining a bit. So if my flare doesn't calm down by maybe this weekend, I think I will have to readjust my diet and bring fats down and carbs up. But we'll see. I'm still just playing with it each day to see how I feel. And so that's a little update on the food. I'm eating the exact same thing, so I'm not going to show much. But tomorrow, I do have to replace my soup that I was making, so I'll show that meal tomorrow. So I have kept my coffee in despite my big calorie deficit that I've had to adjust to with the injury. So I have 2 cups of coffee in the morning, and I use about 160 calories of this creamer lately. So I'm just going to have to reduce it, which makes me a little sad, but it's part of the game. So I do measure my coffee creamer like this. I'm going to start reducing this by 50 calories a day.
just to give myself more space in my day for other foods. But towards usually I'd say the last month of prep, my final 6 weeks, I usually do take coffee creamer out completely just because there really isn't much wiggle room for it in the diet. And then in addition, I do try and remove as much sugar as possible from my diet at the end there. So I'm still going to enjoy it, just going to use less of it, just to make these adjustments. Other things I can tell you about how this first week with my injury has gone is that since I did adjust my diet and my activity pretty drastically, I've continued to lose fat for sure. I've been getting leaner every day. I can feel it. Every competitor knows in contest prep, the longer you do it, you have some telltale signs of different stages of the fat loss process where things happen. And the thing that happens to me usually the first month is I have this vein underneath my right arm that the leaner I get, it comes out more. And it's definitely showing more this week. So now I'm a month into contest prep now. And even with all the adjustments I've made, I'm definitely leaning down. My waist is starting to really lean out. I don't have much fat or watery anymore around here that I can feel. And I'm definitely tightening up. So it's working. At the end of the day, losing body fat is a combination of calories out versus your output. And then, of course, when you're doing a bodybuilding contest prep, different than just maybe somebody that's not thinking about showing their muscles on stage, by keeping the protein very high, I will continue to keep my muscle as much as I can, hopefully. I'm going to be training, I think, almost every day. Honestly, since I'm not moving much, I think I need to get down to the gym every single day. So I'm taking all of this in stride, and I'm actually kind of looking forward to learning about my body and how it adapts to this situation as my contest prep goes on. So another complication of my mobility is the snow. We have so much snow on the ground here in Chicago. So I'm not allowed to go outside my building until the snow clears, or unless I really have my husband helping me and holding my hand get in and out of an Uber or whatever. So you have lots of snow on the ground here, but the dog walkers have been great coming and helping. And we got another delivery from Beehive Seitan, so I'll show you guys. So when we ordered the first time, we got the sampler where you could choose 6 different things. And part of that was I got the buffalo chicken slices, and my husband has declared that this is his favorite vegan deli meat he's ever had. So I bought a 6-pack of that. And then we got our bacon again, the seitan bacon. And then we picked up a few different things. We got the chorizo, and we got the Italian crumbles, and the spicy pepperoni. So I thought I'd show you guys the taco bowls, the burrito bowls that I made with the Beehive taco meat seitan. So just rice and air fried peppers in the seitan taco meat, and my husband's has some beans in there too. Mine don't have beans since I'm eating less carbs right now. And when we eat these, we eat them on a bed of baby spinach and add fresh salsa. And then he puts a single serve guacamole on his. And then these are the buffalo deli meat slices that he said are so good. I like them too. They're really good. So those are these. And then this is what the bacon looks like out of the package. So the seitan bacon. Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in to week 4 of my contest prep with all of the updates with my injury. I will check you guys on here for week 5, where I'm going to do a physique update and also show you a workout next week. Have a good one. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.